Goodbye YouTube, how's it going everybody? I want to give a quick thanks to everybody who asked me questions on my previous upload for me and Laura to answer. Hopefully we will be able to make the video sometime this weekend and get it up by early next week. And for those of you who are wondering, I am on the other side of the field. I am Shawn Michaels, that is my team on the other side of the field. But yeah, this was a pretty good onion battle I had earlier today. And the general idea behind my team was that I want to use Adamant Scarf Braviary, and yes, I know Bulk Up is superior, but I just want to use Scarf Braviary. Then I wanted to use offensive Seismitoad and offensive Tangela, and Probopass and Musharna. Then I just threw in Choice Banded Sock for some raw power. So yeah, definitely a fun team that I do really enjoy using. Looking at threats on my opponent's side of the field, the only one thing that I see being a threat is going to be that Gorbis. Just because after a Shell Smash, it could just plow through my team. So I really have to watch out for that. But from looks of it, Tangela is definitely going to be an important member in this battle just because it can deal with force 2/3 of his team, and force 6 of his team, which is what I was trying to say. But yeah, knowing that my best lead is going to be Tangela, I'm going to be leading off with that, as he's going to be leading off with the Seismitoad, and I know that the Giga Drain is way too obvious, so what I'm going to do is just go straight for the Sleep Powder, as he does bring in the Scolipede, possibly expecting me to go for the Giga Drain, and I know that this turn he more than likely is going to want to stay in trying to wake up on my Tangela, so I can get a free switch into my Braviary, and due to the fact that he has Golem, the Brave Bird is obviously not going to be the play that I want to go for, but I am going to go for it knowing that he's not going to switch directly into Golem and more than likely bringing something else, expecting me to go for the U-turn, as he does bring in the Tauros. Thanks to the Intimidate, my Defiant activates. I get a +2 in my attack, which is actually +1 after the -1 from the Intimidate, and I'm able to knock out the Tauros as he brings in the Golem. Obviously it does resist Brave Bird, so I'm going to be able to get this free switch into my Seismitoad as he ends up going for the Stealth Rocks. Unfortunately, I make a bit of an over prediction and I go for the Toxic as opposed to going straight for the Earth Power, which is what I should have done. And this turn I get baited in like a complete idiot to go for the Hydro Pump, and of course he makes a safe switch into the Seismitoad. And knowing that Seismitoad can't do anything to me, I'm actually going to stay in and go for the Toxic, but I completely forgot about the fact that Seismitoad can even learn Grass Knot, and he just destroys my Seismitoad, which I guess isn't too big of a deal. Unfortunately though, he still has his own Seismitoad, which is going to be running around, as I make a stupid switch into my Probopass. I meant to click Tangela, but I clicked Probopass, and now this turn I do bring a Tangela, as he does just go for the safe Earth Power. That extra damage on my Tangela really doesn't end up mattering whatsoever, and I'm going to be able to go straight for the Hidden Power Ice, expecting him to bring in his own Tangela. As this turn, what I should have done was gone for the Leaf Storm, but like an idiot, I go for the Hidden Power Ice, and I'm put in a position where I have to leave in my Tangela, because as I said, after a Shell Smash, Gorbis destroys my team and he takes me out with the Ice Beam, which means the biggest threat to his team is now gone. So I'm going to bring in my Probopass, and expecting him to want to switch out, I'm just going to stay in and go for my Stealth Rocks, but he makes a good play and goes for the Hydro Pump. Unfortunately though, he misses a second Hydro Pump, which kind of comes to play a role in a couple of turns, but I don't think it was entirely too game changing, and I'll make sure to point that out. As I Volt Switch out to my Sock, I'm just going to go for the Close Combat, except not really, because for some reason I go for the Earthquake, because I thought that he would bring in the Scolipede, which even then, an Adamant Choice Banded Close Combat after Rocks is still going to do a good amount of damage to Scolipede, so that was a really stupid play on my part, and now I'm going to be forced to choose something on my team to be used as Sleep Fodder, as I choose my Probopass. Now, if he had taken out my Probopass with the Hydro Pump, I still have my Braviary, which I would have brought in on the Sleep Powder, just because my Braviary does have the Sleep Talk. So yeah, that's where I don't really think the Hydro Pump miss is entirely game changing, but I bring in my Musharna, go for the Shot Shock as he knocks off my leftovers, and this turn I know he more than likely is going to want to switch out, so I'm just going to go for the Baton Pass as he does bring in the Seismitoad. This turn I'm going to make the good play and click the right damn move and go for the Adamant Choice Banded Stab Close Combat and just pop that Seismitoad. So that's one less Pokemon I have to worry about, as this turn is going to bring in a Tangle. Unfortunately, at the amount of HP Tangle is at, I'm not going to be able to knock him out, and the best switching I have for his Tangle is going to be my Musharna, just because if he does predict me to bring a Braviary and goes for the Hidden Power Ice, which you saw there, it could potentially take me out. So either way, Musharna is the safest switching I have for his Tangela. As this turn, I'm going to go for the Moonlight. He's going to bring in the Gorbis, and I know I should easily be able to take any hit that he wants to go for, so I'm just going to stay in and go for the Side Shock and knock out the Gorbis, which means his biggest threat is out of the way, which means I do have some good momentum in this battle. As he brings in the Golem, thanks to the fact that Musharna is one bulky ass Pokemon, I'm going to be able to easily live the hit, and thanks to the Toxic I got off earlier with the Seismitoad, I'm going to be able to Toxic Stall this Golem and potentially even wear it down to the point where I will be able to knock it out with the Psyshock if it comes down to that. but I'm just going to say and keep going for the Moonlight. In hindsight, what I should have done this turn was gone for the Baton Pass, just because I really wasn't paying attention to how many Moonlights I was using, and I think I already used like 4 of them. And he does make the safe switch into Scolipede, knowing that I would more than likely go for a second or third Moonlight. And then I go for the Sawshock, just barely failed to knock him out as he wakes up and he misses the Mega Horn. Now, as you can see from the damage calcs, with the EV spread that I'm running on this Musharna, if this Scolipede was adamant in Swarm Rage, I have a chance to live. If he was Jolly in Swarm Range, I would have lived. So that Mega Horn miss, I'm not going to say it was game changing just because my Musharna did have a chance to live, but it was definitely important because now my Musharna is still going to be at full HP, allowing me to take a hit from this Golem and then Baton Pass into my sock and just freely click close combat and 2-hit KO his Tangela if he does switch it in, but I get a crit. Damage calc, as you saw there, it is a 2 to 3 KO after rock, so depending on min-max would have depended if I was able to actually take out the Tangela, so that crit might have mattered and it might have not. And at this point, with this last being Golem, all I have to do is switch it to my Pro Pass as fodder to get a free switch back out into my sock and go for the close combat, although I could have stayed in and gone for the close combat, but I just thought it would be the safer play to fodder off Pro Pass, then bring in socks. So yeah, in the end, I don't really think the miss was entirely game changing, but let's say if he did take me out with the Mega Horn, then he would have potentially swept through my team. But as you saw there, I had a chance to live, so you guys can be the deciding factor on whether it was game changing or not, just because if he did hit, I still could have lived. So we do not know if I would have lived or not because he did miss. So with that, hopefully you guys did enjoy the quick battle. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to some more content. With that, I will see you guys soon hopefully, and I am out of here. Later everybody.